All right, deep divers, buckle up, because Sahil's been on a roll with these curated deep dives.
He has.
Today we're calling it Steaming Momo Thoughts, and he's got us exploring something called the Moonlit Momo. Intrigued yet?
I'll admit, the title alone has me curious. Sahil seems to have a knack for these evocative metaphors.
He really does.
Yeah.
But before we get lost in this theme, let's clarify for our listeners. The Moonlit Momo is actually Sahil's way of diving into Karva Chauth. Now, you probably already know this, but for the sake of our deep dive, let's start with a little table setting. What exactly are we dealing with here?
At its heart, Karva Chauth is a Hindu festival primarily observed in North India that falls on the fourth day after the full moon in the month of Kartika. And yes, that fourth is incredibly significant, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I see what you did there. The name really does say it all, doesn't it?
It does. Karva, you see, means earthen pot, and Chauth, of course, means fourth. That earthen pot, the Karva, takes center stage in this festival, so much so that it lends its name to the entire celebration.
Okay, I'm already sensing layers here, much like our metaphorical Momo. But before we get to the juicy details of the rituals, let's rewind. Where did this whole tradition spring from?
Well, like many age-old traditions, the exact origins of Karva Chauth are a bit of a delicious mystery. But there are a few prevailing theories, each offering a unique flavor to our understanding.
Okay, hit us with those origin stories. I'm ready to be transported.
One theory suggests a historical context, a time when men were often away for long periods, whether for battles or trade. Wives, fraught with worry for their husband's safety, began observing this fast as a powerful act of prayer, a plea to the cosmos for their loved one's safe return.
Wow, that paints such a vivid picture of the time, doesn't it? That deep longing, that uncertainty woven into the fabric of their daily lives.
Precisely. And it wasn't just about battles. Imagine those arid landscapes, those perilous journeys through treacherous terrains. This fast becomes a testament to the enduring strength of love and hope.
It's like the emotional weight of those anxieties infused every sip of water they denied themselves.
Exactly. But there's another layer to this origin story, one that connects us to the rhythms of the natural world. Some believe that Karva Chauth might have sprouted from ancient harvest celebrations. Remember those karvas, those earthen pots?
Oh, right, the namesake of the festival.
Imagine them not as vessels for water, but as receptacles for offerings of grain presented to the gods as a prayer for a bountiful harvest, a promise of sustenance for the community.
So it's not just about a husband's well-being, but a community's prosperity.
Precisely. It speaks to a time when life was so deeply intertwined with the cycles of nature, with the earth's generosity.
I love how this festival seems to straddle these dual roles. A personal expression of love and a communal plea for prosperity.
It's a fascinating duality, isn't it? But of course, no exploration of Karva Chauth would be complete without venturing into the realm of legends, those captivating tales that have been passed down through generations.
Oh, you know I live for a good legend. Lay it on us. All right, give us a taste of those legendary love stories. What tales are woven into the fabric of this festival?
Well, one of the most enduring is the story of Virvati, a queen known for her beauty and devotion. She's observing Karva Chauth for the first time, undertaking the fast with unwavering commitment. But as the day wears on...
That hunger starts to hit different, am I right?
Exactly. Virvati's brothers, seeing her growing weaker, decide to intervene. They trick her into believing the moon has risen by using a mirror to reflect its light.
Oh, no, I can already sense this isn't going to end well.
You're right to be worried. Thinking she's fulfilled the fast, Virvati breaks it. But tragically, news arrives soon after that her beloved husband has died.
That's intense. Talk about putting your faith on the line.
Devastated Virvati prays to the goddess Parvati for her husband's life to be restored. Parvati, moved by her devotion, agrees, but on one condition. Virvati must observe the fast again, this time with absolute adherence, no shortcuts or trickery.
Wow, so it's a story of faith tested, but also a reminder of the power of ritualistic precision. Don't mess with tradition, right?
Right. And this theme of unwavering devotion takes center stage again in the story of Karva legend. Says that her love for her husband was so powerful she even challenged Yama, the god of death himself.
Okay, now that's a power couple I can get behind. Tell me more about Karva's bold move.
So the story goes that Karva's husband was bathing in a river when a crocodile attacked him. Without hesitation, Karva bound the crocodile with a simple cotton thread and appealed directly to Lord Yama for justice.
Oh, and she tied up a crocodile with a thread. This woman is fearless.
Her courage and devotion were truly remarkable, impressed by her piety. Yama intervened, banishing the crocodile and returning her husband to safety.
These stories are like ancient folklore, reminding us of the values at the heart of Karva Chauth.
Yeah.
But let's be real, we're not living in those times anymore.
Exactly. And just as our metaphorical momo has evolved with different fillings and flavors, so too has Karva Chauth adapted to the changing landscape of love and marriage.
Okay, so how does this ancient festival with its intense legends and fasting rituals fit into our modern world?
That's the beauty of tradition, isn't it? It has this incredible ability to adapt and evolve. While the core elements of Karva Chauth remain today, it's often experienced as more of a cultural celebration of love and partnership.
So less about one-sided sacrifice and more about mutual respect and appreciation?
Precisely. It's about celebrating the bond you share, honoring the commitment you've made. And you see this shift reflected in many ways, even in the rituals themselves.
But I love the rituals.
Yeah.
Give us the rundown what actually happens during Karva Chauth.
Well, imagine this. The day begins before sunrise with a special meal called sargi. Traditionally, it's the mother-in-law showering her daughter-in-law with love and a hearty spread meant to fuel her through the day of fasting.
It's like a love-fueled power breakfast. Got to keep that energy up.
Exactly. And speaking of love and familial bonds, this act of care extends beyond the pre-dawn meal. There's also the baya,
Baya.
the exchange of gifts. This usually happens between the woman's family and her in-laws.
Oh.
We're talking sweets, dry fruits, clothing, even money sometimes.
Okay, now this is a tradition I can get behind. Gift giving for everyone.
This gift exchange isn't just about material things. It's a tangible way of acknowledging and nurturing those vital relationships that surround the couple. It's about recognizing that love and commitment exist within a larger network of support and affection.
I love that. It's like the love ripples outward, strengthening those bonds that make a family. But we can't forget the most iconic visual of Karva Chauth, the henna.
Ah, yes, the mundi. It's more than just an art form, it's a symbol brimming with meaning. For many, the deepness of the henna's color is believed to reflect the intensity of the husband's love.
Well, I guess that explains why everyone's Instagram feeds are about to be flooded with henna selfies. But in all seriousness, the artistry is beautiful, and I love that it ties back to those deeper layers of love and devotion.
It's a beautiful blend of tradition and self-expression, isn't it? But the real magic happens as the day transitions into evening and we arrive at the heart of the celebration, the puja.
Okay, set the scene for us. What goes down at this evening gathering?
Picture this. Women dressed in their finest attire, often their wedding saris or vibrant reds, symbolizing marital bliss.
Okay, I'm already obsessed with the visual. It's like a collective embrace of love and tradition radiating through that sea of red.
It's quite a sight. They gather usually in a circle and pass around the karva, that earthen pot we talked about earlier, now filled with water. It's symbolic, you see, of life and prosperity passed from one woman to another, connecting them through this shared experience.
It's like this tangible representation of their collective prayers, their hopes, their dreams for their families and their futures.
And as they pass the karva, they recite the Karva Chauth Vrat Katha, the fasting story, reminding themselves of the legends, the values, the very essence of this ancient ritual.
It's like each story, each prayer adds another layer of meaning to that simple earthen pot, doesn't it?
Exactly. And of course, throughout this gathering, they offer prayers to Shiva, Parvati, Ganesha, and most importantly, the moon.
Ah, yes, the moon, the celestial guest of honor. Everyone waits with bated breath for its arrival, don't they?
They do. It's a moment of collective anticipation. As the moon ascends in the night sky, women catch their first glimpse of its reflection, not directly, but through a sieve.
A sieve. Now that's interesting. Why a sieve?
It acts as a filter, a way of symbolically straining out negativity, allowing only the pure, radiant light of the moon to shine through.
I love that. It's like this beautiful poetic way of cleansing and renewal. But after this dramatic lunar reveal, the fast is finally broken right.
Yes, and here's where that modern twist comes in. While traditionally it was the husband who would offer the first sip of water or a bite of food these days, it's becoming more common for couples to break the fast together as equals.
Okay, now that's a modern interpretation I can get behind. It acknowledges that love and support are a two-way street.
Exactly. It's about shared responsibility, shared commitment, and recognizing the evolving dynamics within relationships.
It really is fascinating to see how this ancient tradition has learned to dance with those modern values. It's like each generation adds its own unique flavor to the recipe, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And speaking of adding flavor, this brings us to a really interesting layer of our Moonlit Momo, the feminist perspective. Because let's be real, A festival so steeped in tradition, centered around a wife's devotion to her husband, is bound to spark some debate in today's world.
Right, because when we talk about love and devotion, shouldn't it be a two-way street, not just one person sacrificing for the other?
Exactly. And that's where some of the critiques come in. Some argue that the traditional narrative of Karva Chauth reinforces those outdated gender roles, placing the burden of a husband's well-being solely on the woman's shoulders. Exactly. And we're already seeing that happen in so many beautiful ways. We talked about husbands choosing to fast in solidarity with their wives. There are also women who view the fast as more of a personal journey, a testament to their own inner strength or spiritual growth, rather than a solely husband-centric act.
It's like reclaiming the narrative, would you say?
Yeah,
Defining what those ancient rituals mean in the context of their own modern lives.
absolutely. It's about holding on to the threads of tradition that resonate while weaving in new strands of meaning that reflect who we are today. And I think that's a powerful testament to the enduring appeal of Karva Chauth. Despite the critiques, despite the changing times, it continues to thrive, especially among younger generations.
That's what I find so interesting. Why do you think that is? What keeps this festival relevant in a world that's constantly evolving?
Well, on a surface level, it's visually stunning. Those vibrant colors, the intricate henna designs, it's inherently beautiful and Instagram-worthy, wouldn't you
Oh,
say?
absolutely. But it's also been heavily romanticized by popular culture, hasn't it? Especially in Bollywood movies.
Absolutely. Bollywood has definitely played a role in popularizing the festival, showcasing those grand romantic gestures and those picture-perfect moments of togetherness that come with it.
And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good Bollywood romance?
Exactly. But beyond the aesthetics and the entertainment factor, I think there's something deeply resonant about the core message of Karva Chauth. It's a celebration of love, of commitment, of those enduring bonds that anchor us, even in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain.
It's like a reminder that no matter how much the world changes, those fundamental human needs, those yearnings for connection and belonging remain constant. And sometimes we find solace and meaning in those rituals, those shared experiences that have been passed down through generations.
Beautifully put. It seems Sahil chose the perfect metaphor after all. Just as a momo holds within its delicate folds a symphony of flavors, Karva Chauth too offers a tapestry of meanings, each layer revealing a new dimension of this ancient tradition.
He really did. Well, deep divers, it looks like we've reached the bottom of our steaming cup of Momo thoughts for today. But remember, the exploration never truly ends. Keep those questions brewing, keep those conversations flowing, and we'll catch you in our next deep dive.